Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome Podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome Podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous human, and welcome to the Ageless and Awesome Podcast. And this week, I am actually focusing on how to stay well in winter. And it's really weird for me because as a Queenslander, it's still actually quite warm here. We're getting cool mornings, but I'm actually going to Tasmania this weekend and it's freezing down there. And I know in other parts of Australia, it's actually really quite cold already, and that, colds, flus are expected as we spend more time indoors. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how to stay healthy over winter, my top tips, because guess what? In perimenopause, we are more susceptible to colds and flu because our increased cortisol, which can happen during perimenopause, actually does impact our immune system capabilities. So yes, we are more likely to get colds and flus and other infections in perimenopause. So it's really important to take extra care if you're at this time in your life. And the thing is, when I'm talking to clients in clinic, often I'm asking them about their immune health. And, are you someone that gets sick every year with a cold or a flu, or, are you fairly robust? And most people think getting 1 or 2 colds a year is actually a really good immune system. And I'm here to tell you that's actually not. You shouldn't be expecting to get sick in winter. That means that your immune system needs a little bit of support. So listen up, because I'm about to give you my top tips to actually support your immune system in a way that's really easy, from a mind-body point of view, from a nutritional point of view. So let's get into this. I'm just going to talk about some really simple ways to stay healthy over winter in this week's pod. Firstly, I say this possibly every week, so I hate to sound like a broken record, but staying hydrated is essential. And we often forget to stay hydrated during the colder months. It does become harder to drink water. And I'm finding, even for myself, it's actually been pretty dry, so I've actually been drinking a lot of water. But when it's cold, I find normally that I struggle to get all my water in. But the thing is, hydration doesn't need to be just water. So I'm going to get onto that in a second. I'm going to talk about why we need to drink more water in winter, or at least, I'm going to say more water. Depends where you live, of course, but we have a greater need for hydration because a lot of the time we're going to be in air-conditioned environments, such as, fireplaces, such as heaters, and particularly overnight. People tend to be in heat overnight a lot more. And so you're going to get really dry. And water plays a critical role in well-being, including in digestion, in our skin health, supporting our detoxification pathways, and also energy production. But it's also important for preventing winter germs from sneaking into the body. The first lines of defense against infection rely on water. Think about the nose and the lungs. If you're not hydrated, it's easier for germs to bypass these lines and get you sick. So if you find that you do struggle to drink plain water in the colder months, I recommend going for some herbal teas. Herbal teas are delicious. I'm totally addicted to ginger tea. If you're a regular listener, I'll often stop the podcast and have a little break so that I can have a little sip of my ginger tea. But things like that. Chamomile tea is beautiful, really good for the gut as well. Ginseng is beautiful in a tea, and it's really good for supporting your energy levels. So, and of course, immune support tea. So elderberry and echinacea. Elderberry, particularly in tea, it is a berry, and it's a really nice tasting tea. So, and that all contributes to your water intake. As well, soups. contribute to your water intake. So, and soups are such an awesome way to get a whole bunch of nutrients into your body that are easy to digest. This is something I always say to people: if you get sick, and here's a tip for if you do get sick, having foods that are really easy for the body to digest are ideal. So soups are one of the big ones, slow cooked foods, smoothies if it's not too cold, because I don't really prefer not to have too many cold foods in the body when you are fighting a bug. So yeah, getting hydration from those sorts of foods and fluids are enjoyable, and it means that you will be able to get all of your fluid in. So I've said the water calculation before, but in case you haven't heard it, if you're new to the podcast, because I know we've got a lot of new listeners since I made the change to the Ageless and Awesome Podcast. So the water calculation you're looking for is your weight in kilograms times 35 mils, and that total number will give you how many mils of water that you need in a day, and that includes any sort of fluid in your dietary intake. So there you go. So that's number one, stay hydrated. Number two, get moving regularly, because another habit that goes out the door when the temperature drops is physical activity. Am I right? It's so hard to get up early to go to the gym or go to Pilates or go for a walk. I have 3 dogs, so I have to go for a walk in the morning. But it does get harder as the days are shorter, the mornings are darker, and it's cold. But there are countless reasons to keep up that movement on a daily basis over the colder months. And just some of them include supporting a healthy metabolism, fending off seasonal depression symptoms, increasing lymphatic flow, which supports your immune function, boosting your mood and motivation levels, and preventing premature aging. And okay, this is a year-round benefit, but you don't move it, rather you lose it. So keeping that body moving and doing movement that you enjoy, that you're going to be able to get out of bed for. So maybe some of the more indoor activities like yoga is obviously always going to be one that I recommend. Pilates, fantastic. Going to a gym, but maybe if it's too cold for you in the morning, planning to go in the afternoon and actually doing it. That is the hardest part, of course. Or maybe having an accountability buddy and meeting a friend somewhere to do your walk. That makes things really nice and easy as well if you have to go, because you have to go and meet somebody. I know for me, if I book a class in the morning, I have to give 6 hours notice not to go, otherwise I get charged. So that's a great motivator for me to get myself out of bed, because I don't want to get that charge. So moving the body, super important. And if that is just not available to you, then doing all of your incidental exercise. So taking stairs instead of a lift, parking your car further away from where you need to walk to so that you're getting more steps in. Just little things like that all make a difference. So find a way to move that you enjoy and that's going to fit into your lifestyle, particularly as the weather gets colder. Number 3, wash your hands. Yes, I know you've heard this a million times over the past few years, but washing your hands just with plain old soap and water can help fend off the germs you're exposed to throughout the day. My rule of thumb is to wash my hands whenever I come home. That is a habit I've developed over many, many years since I was a theatre nurse. I've always been a bit of a germphobe because of that training. So washing my hands whenever I come home, avoiding touching surfaces. I think we all know, we've all been pretty well trained with post-pandemic or during the pandemic to use our elbows if we can to press, buttons at traffic lights or lifts and things like that. Or the back of your wrist is also a good one for the lift. But yeah, trying to avoid getting contamination on your hands will really help, particularly with cold and flu bugs that are just everywhere in winter. And yeah, if you can maintain that really good habit, then that is absolutely essential for avoiding getting sick. Number 4, soak up the daylight. One of the key reasons that we are prone to physical and mental issues over the winter is the lack of daylight. It's cold outside. We prefer huddling up inside and staying warm. I know I do as a Queenslander. But we want to make sure you get some daylight exposure every single day to keep you healthy. It has both physical and mental health benefits. And depending on where you live, you may be able to get a dose of vitamin D from sunlight exposure during winter. Most places in Australia you can. And as we know, vitamin D is a must for a healthy immune system. But daylight also helps to regulate our circadian rhythm and boost our feel-good brain chemicals. So aim for at least 10 minutes outside each day and expose whatever skin you can without getting too chilly. And remember to get those benefits, your skin needs to not have sunscreen on it. So what I've always recommended is always have sunscreen on your face because your face gets so exposed over the day. But there are plenty of your body parts that don't get that exposure, such as your legs, maybe your torso, upper arms, places that don't get a lot of sun exposure are really good to do this exposure to the sun, just from preventing that aged look on the skin and age spots and things like that. So if you can use other body parts and making sure you always have your sunscreen on, even in winter, that is ideal. All right, next, embrace seasonal ingredients. There is a reason why seasonal ingredients, like when I'm talking ingredients, I'm talking fruits and veggies, are available at the times of the year that they are. You'll find the nutrients you need to maintain your health over winter packed into seasonal foods. For example, citrus fruits give you a great dose of vitamin C and antioxidants that combat germs. Root veggies are full of fiber that allow you to enjoy some comforting carbohydrates without setting your blood sugar soaring. Brassica veggies or cruciferous veggies have potent anti-inflammatory compounds that protect your heart and prevent premature aging. Yellow foods like pumpkin, carrot, sweet potato, lots of vitamin A, which are really good for supporting your immune system. So load up on the seasonal options. If you can pick them up directly from a farmer's market, that's even better because they haven't been stored for long periods of time. The longer fresh fruit and veggies are stored, they kind of lose their antioxidant benefits and they lose some of their vitamins. Whereas if it's snap frozen, it actually can be more nutritious than fresh foods depending on how long those fresh foods have been stored. That's why farmers markets are awesome. I'll never forget one of my first experiences at a farmers market, and one of the farmers there was saying to me, was wanting me to taste the lettuce, and she was saying the lettuce literally had come out of the ground that morning, and I tasted it and it was unbelievable. I never think of lettuce as being full of flavor. This was full of flavor, and it really shows the difference between foods that are stored so that they can be available all year round, which is also great. Not bagging that, but I'm just saying that if you can eat seasonally, that is ideal for supporting your health because of the way nature knows what we need at the different times of year. So load up on those seasonal options. Also, consider a supportive supplement if you need it. So if you're already depleted, deficient, run down, if you're eating lots of takeaway, if you're really stressed, if you're skipping meals, if your sleep's not great, it can be really tough to stay on top of everything. People get very run down, and that's when your immune system starts to really kind of get worn out and makes you more susceptible to being unwell. And that's where a supplement may help to just fill those little gaps and help you to recover more quickly, or to, if it's even some of these herbs can really help prevent, like echinacea is a great one, astragalus is a great one to help prevent getting sick. And having those beautiful supplement vitamins that are easy to absorb. That's the other thing. If you're having things like gut issues, having a supplement can be really useful in the interim when you may not be absorbing your food that well and breaking it down that well. Then having your nutrients in a supplement form may be helpful, but they can never substitute for a healthy diet. If you're looking for a high quality supplement, obviously Energy Glow NR is my go-to all-rounder. I built it to make it cost effective. Just 2 capsules a day covers off your immune support, your energy, your stress management, your collagen, like so many things. It's amazing. So you can go to my supplement website is theglowprotocol.com.au. You can follow that Instagram account, which is at theglowprotocolAU, to find out more. So that's all I have for you today in today's episode. Just to recap, my top tips for staying healthy over winter: keep hydrated, get moving regularly, wash your hands, soak up the daylight, get your vitamin D, and get your mood elevated. Embrace seasonal ingredients and consider a supportive supplement. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you've got any questions for my Thursday Ask Me Anything podcasts, then please message me at Susie Garden Wellness on Instagram, or you can email hello@susiegarden.com. That's SUSIE garden.com. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts, or the follow button if you're on Spotify, so that you can get each new episode delivered to you every single week. If you like free stuff, and who doesn't, then head over to susiegarden.com and grab my 8 essential age-defying secrets every woman over 40 should know right now. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.